and welcome to episode number 27 of the Crafty Historian Podcast. My name is Rachel and I am a history graduate of the University of York, and I will be returning in September to study my Masters. Very exciting. Today is it's a Thursday. It was the 16th last week. I'm going for the 23rd, but I may be wrong. But it's sometime late August, and I have not been around for a little while because I've been on holiday. I had graduation, seeing people. Yeah, so I've just been a bit busy, but I've been doing some crafting, and I figured I would hop in and hopefully get a bit of get the ball rolling again, so we can start sort of working on this podcast again, because I really enjoy doing it and I hope you all enjoy doing it. So if this is your first time viewing, I may be a little bit rusty, but if you're coming back, thank you so much for joining me again for my weird little rambles. Hopefully it'll make some sense, and if I don't, we'll blame the fact that it rained this morning. Don't know why, but we will just blame it. So if you want to find me on the social media, on Ravelry you can find me as RachelRavenclaw, and on Instagram I am Ravenclaw Rachel. There is also a Ravelry group for the podcast, which you can find if you search the Crafty Historian in the groups tabs on Ravelry. And I've started a new thread in that group because it's underused. Just asking for any suggestions for any history segments that you would like to see. You may see here, medieval history is my jam, but I'm occasionally willing to branch out a little bit. Maybe. My suffragettes went down well, at least, I think. Yay. So I think we should crack on, because I have 3 finished objects this episode. Only one of which you have seen. And that one is my chuck jumper. Yay. It is not yet blocked or the ends woven in, and it's been in this state since about the beginning of the month, because I've been away and busy and bits and bobs. But if I finish this podcast swiftly, I'll be able to do it before my mum comes home. So yes, this is Chuck by Andi Satterlund. It is a cropped cable jumper, which I knit in an Aran, I think it's dye choice wool Aran. It's a 80-20 acrylic wool blend. It's got these lovely sort of tweedy flecks. This lighting is always terrible. There we go, you can see little green and red flecks in there. I'm incredibly proud of myself and this jumper, because I managed to finish it in a month. My last jumper took me 14 months to complete. So this really was an improvement for me. I'm very proud of myself. It was a gorgeous pattern to follow. I basically blitzed down this cable. Repeat. It was so addictive. And the stitch definition with this wool is actually really nice. This center cable has my heart. I love it so much. There are a few things I would do differently if I were to knit again, and that I would probably size down. So I used the finished measurements of my bust, but I think my gauge must have been slightly out because I used Aran instead of worsted weight, because I ran out of wool or yarn, if you remember. Last time I think I was waiting for the yarn to finish the sleeves because I needed to get another ball. I actually got 2 balls and now I've got 1.5 balls left over. Always the case, isn't it? But I have 2 sleeves. It's got a nice 1x1 rib at the bottom. Won't wear it now because it is an Aran weight cardigan and it is still about 20 degrees. But this will be perfect for when I'm back in York. It's lovely and soft and it's flattering. It sits just at my waist. I'm currently wearing jeans and it sits nicely with that. I can see it with a nice shirt. I'm very happy. Can you tell? So yes, if I were to do it again, I would probably size down rather than sizing the needles down, because I'm unlikely to be able to find worsted weight yarn, but I will find Aran, and I like the stitch definition here. So I knit the large size or the extra large size, I can't remember. I think it was extra large. I will either go down to a large or a medium. I'll see how much of when I've washed it and things, how much space there is around the sides, and compare that to how much ease / negative ease I would like. Ideally I wanted a negative ease sweater, but this has turned out with some positive ease. It's still going to be wearable, it just means I can layer more things underneath it. So yes, I think I misread the waist shaping because I've got a bit here which is just straight. I think the waist shaping is meant to go all the way down to here. But I can have a better look at that when more likely when I knit it again, because I want a burgundy version. Of course I do. But it's really hard to find the perfect burgundy. I think my friend Liv wants one too. We'll see. So yes, hopefully at some point I'll be wearing this for the podcast so that you can see. I would like to get some finished pictures with this once it's been, you know, ends woven in and things. We've got to deal with this buttonhole that I made in the waist. Don't know what I did there. Of course it had to be right in the middle, didn't it? So I've got to sew that up. And then I will have another jumper to add to my collection, which is really exciting. I want to cast on a new jumper or a new cardigan like you would not believe, but I'm holding off because I also want to cast on all the things. I am restraining the cast-onitis, even though it's like I want so much to just cast on everything. But we will continue with my current finished objects with the 2 things that you haven't seen. First of which is my hat design. So this is the White Rose of York hat. I knitted in this cream, which is West Yorkshire Spinners. And as you can see here, it's got a pearl relief of the White Rose of York. It's very subtle. If I put it on now. So if you're just walking around, unlikely to be able to tell because it's on the crown up here. I've got no idea if you can see that or not. But it's got these delicate eyelets around the brim as well as nice sort of crenellation pattern almost. Normally I would wear this with my fringe down, but I've pinned it back right now. I've put a little bit of slouch into it, but equally it can be pulled down to sit full beanie size, so it covers your ears. I'm really happy with it. It's currently being test knit. I know one of them has finished. 2 of them are working on it, and I haven't heard from the last one. So I'm hoping they get it done by about the beginning of September, so I can do all the final tweaks and have it out for when I return to York in the middle of September. So yes, I really like it. It's a nice sort of lightweight hat because it's knit in 4-ply, but it's sort of for that autumn spring weather when you just need something to keep the wind out. I'm so happy. Again, this lighting is terrible for everything, but I'm so happy. Yeah. So I will keep you all updated when this goes live and things like that. If you want to keep an eye on things, because I have taken some photos now. Managed to persuade my sister to let me take photos of her. Put a hat on her straightened hair. So check out my Instagram if you would like to keep up to date with when I'm releasing and things like that. And let me know, what colour would you knit it in? Perhaps, yeah. Let me know what you do. Because I knitted it in cream because it's the White Rose of York. You kind of need to have it in a whitish colour, I felt. But it could easily be any sort of flower. Blue would also go very well because the Yorkshire flag is the white rose on a blue background. I'm just really intrigued. So there we go. Finished object number 2. I'm very excited, if you can't tell. Finished object number 3 comes with a warning to one particular individual. So, my friend Liv, if you are watching, skip ahead until this point. Hopefully I remember to stick in like numbers, because you're not allowed to watch this bit, Liv. Go away. I hope she's gone. Because I've started my Christmas knitting. It's me, of course I have. I only took Christmas knitting away with me, well, in a hat. When we went on holiday, I went on holiday to the Dominican Republic, if you were unaware. And I knit a pair of socks. Not for me, but for my friend Liv. These are for her birthday or Christmas. I have yet to decide. She'd better be gone by now. And I have a pair. They look awful when they're not on a foot. These are the simple skip socks. I cannot remember the designer, but it's this lovely pattern, sort of lace pattern. Oh, it looks like a crocodile. Sock puppets apparently is how we are doing today. So yes, it's a free pattern and it's a very simple stitch. Oh, maybe it's these yarn overs and passing stitches over. I really enjoyed it and they went surprisingly quickly. I used my go-to, we are going for sock puppets now. My go-to construction for gift socks, which is casting on 12 on each needle for the toe. I do mine magically, so 12 and then increasing to 56 and then doing a wrap and turn heel. I need to look up what a German short row heel, because I'm not sure if that's what I'm currently doing or if I need to do something different. But I find this fits a variety of feet fairly well and it's minimal hassle for me. So that just sits like that. That's my heel. A wrap and turn heel. I always do it down to 10 stitches. And up here I did a 2x2 rib as well, just because it came out of the pattern really nicely. You can see it does look better when it's got a foot in it, because otherwise it just sucks itself up. I do still need to weave in the ends. Apparently I dislike weaving in ends, which was never something I knew about myself until recently. And so I knit my mum's socks, the Christmas socks. They have still yet to have ends woven in. I still have socks that I've knit for myself which have yet to have the ends woven in, and I haven't knit myself socks in months. Oh well, ends to weave in. At least this one doesn't have a contrast toe and heel. There are only 2 ends to weave on this. I should probably say the yarn I used was a Signet Woolrich 4-ply. It was a 75% wool and 25% nylon. This lovely greeny colour. That actually shows up really well there. And it feels nice and hard wearing. It reminds me of West Yorkshire Spinners 4-ply. So there we go. And here's the second one, exactly the same. Very happy with how they've turned out. And that's one thing I can tick off my to-do list for Christmas. Woohoo! Because it's growing slowly, my list. So you can bet that in September there will be a lot of Christmas gift knitting happening. And there we go. And those are the finished objects I have completed since I saw you last. I also have 3 works in progress to show you. Again, things that you have not seen. I have not touched my mum's cable hat, which I'm knitting for her for Christmas, because I didn't want to knit with wool Aran in, well, the humidity of the Caribbean. So what I took with me, as well as these, was another pair of Christmas gift socks, living in my project bag, which I made for myself. Sort of poppies. Kind of bursting out because I was recently working on it. Foot and all. I'm knitting socks for my friend Gemma. And I actually have a hoe. Oh, she's got such small feet. Well, it's small compared to mine. These would not get on my size 7 feet. I knit them a bit shorter here because I want to use as much of the wool as possible, which might, hopefully, I will get the second one out of this. And that will mean I have another one left over. We'll see. So this is a Knit Picks Felici. It is in the colourway Pinata. It's one that was been in my stash for a little while. I realise it's probably a bit too bright for me. It would be perfect for her. I mean, her hair is currently this colour. So, I probably should have said Gemma don't look either. I'm not sure if she watches. We'll see. I do have contrast heels and toes in this one. So I'm using a black sheepies. I usually pronounce it, well, I don't usually pronounce it, I usually butcher it to be sheepies. It's sheep, J-E-S, but I heard someone call them sheepies. So that's easier to pronounce than sheepies. Invicta Extra for toes and heels. It's my go-to for toes and heels. Feels very similar to the Signet, actually. Yeah. I just used black, which, you know, knitting on a plain, a black heel was not my best call. Sitting there looking, no, I did it in the car actually. Still, not a great call knitting black yarn in the back of a car. Something I don't remember where I wrapped my turns. It's exactly the same construction, 12 to 56. Or rather 24 to 56, but 12 stitches on each needle, up to 28 on each needle. Down to 10, and a 2x2 rib at the top. And yes, need to cast on the second one. It's currently not. And then I can stick that in my gift box and figure out who else needs socks. Apart from my mother. My mother always gets socks. I think I may have figured out she wants a pair of these skip socks in grey, which does mean I will have to go and buy some. I'm trying at the moment to use up my stash, so we'll see how that goes. Maybe she'll get those for her birthday, because then I might have some Christmas money to buy grey. I've decided I'm not going to Yarndale this year because the master student does not have that kind of cash. And yeah, I'm a little bit sad, but equally I don't know how much I would have gotten out of it. I don't really know anyone else who was going, which is sad, but oh well. I enjoyed it last year, and I'm sure I will have plenty of opportunity to visit yarn festivals in the future. Especially as everyone and their aunt seems to be going to Perth Festival of Yarn. I really wanted to go. Just wasn't viable this year. But I'm sending all my love up there to Scotland. I'm on such a tangent today. Oh goodness. Socks. Another pair for Christmas. On the go. Do it. I have another pair of socks, but these ones are for me. There's no deadline on these. I'm holding them in my Winnie the Pooh Cath Kidston bag, which I made. Found a fat quarter of the Cath Kidston print online. I was so glad. Here's my foot, again, a little worse for wear. And this is what I've got so far. So this is, I think it's been purely train knitting. I knit it when I went down to London to see Nikki of Tea and Possibilities. We had a lovely day visiting yarn shops, or at least I had a lovely day. I really enjoyed it. And this is an Osterman Step. Again, it's just a vanilla sock. And I love the burgundy. I didn't realise it would stripe up like this. The wool was a bit weird. But I'm enjoying it. I love this section down here. It reminds me of a snowy owl. I'm using another Sheepies Invicta Extra Fort Toes. I think I will do heels and cuffs as well. So that's that one. It's an Osterman Step. Yeah, it looks slightly darker there. I don't know why. I think it's because I'm doing it in the reverse. So my cream is down that way. Don't know. It's colour number 43, if anyone was interested. 75% virgin wool and 25% nylon. It's a nice sock yarn. It's really quite woolly. It feels, yeah, it's soft. I wouldn't necessarily want it up here. No, actually. Just sit here stroking myself with wool. We're having one of those days apparently. I'm knitting mine on 2.25 Knit Pro Zings as well. Which I picked these up again yesterday for the first time in several weeks. And they're just so smooth. I would like a whole set of these, but even if I put it on my Christmas wish list, it's not going to happen. I don't think they even do sets of these anyway. But really nice. If you're looking for a sort of intermediate pair of needles, so going from like the pony needles up to something a little bit nicer before going into like Chowgoos and higher, I'd go for the Knit Pro Zings. I really enjoy them. So those can sit in there for whenever I want it. And my final work in progress is a hat for me. I am knitting the Hermione Hearts Ron hat. Oh, hang on, I turned the paper around so that I could see everything at once. Here we go, Hermione Hearts Ron. It is a free pattern, I do believe, but it's based on this hat by that Hermione wears in the Half-Blood Prince. It's a nice cable and eyelet design. And this is what I have so far. I've got the ribbing and I've started up the lace. Is this the right way round? No, there we go. That way round. So there's lace in the pearl section. And then this will be the cable section. And I had to put this down because I wanted to finish Liv Socks. I took this also on holiday. That's why it's on wooden needles. Mind you, it's working really well. They're looking... Get your teeth in, woman. Yeah, it's working up really nicely. I'm enjoying it. Well, you can see the lace better here. See the two little eyelets there. Whoop, whoop. Because this is, I bought it, it's a sport weight that I bought at Yarndale last year. Do I have the tag? I can't see the tag, but it's tall yarns and it's got silk in it. And it is the softest thing I have ever knit with. It was just gliding off the needles and I had to put it down because otherwise I would not have anything else done. I have a hat though, at least. I mean, that's something. Oh yeah, I'm knitting with it now, and it's just so smooth. It's very nice. I've never knit with anything with silk before, so this is quite a novelty. So far, the pattern seems to be really clear. I am enjoying it. I forgot to say the Hermione Hearts Ron pattern is by Christy Aylesworth. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And I do believe a fair few people have knitted it. There seems to be a few projects down there at least. So I will keep working and I will keep you updated. But I can see now why people spend extra on silk, because this is a dream. It really is. Right, so this will be another sort of autumny hat for me, and it's in a gorgeous burgundy, which I'm very much a fan. So that's all the crafting that I've got at the moment. I haven't been doing any scrapbooking recently at all. I plan to get back on the sewing machine though, because I miss it and I want to get back into it again. I've got several fabrics piling up that I just want to, you know, work through. They've been in my stash for a while with projects planned out, and I would just like to have them for my wardrobe. So yes, that is that. So for now, that is all the craftiness I've got for you. I do have a little bit of history that I will talk about if you would like to stay for that, but if not, thank you so much for spending time with me. I will see you again soon. But for all those history lovers out there, I'm going to talk a little bit about Christopher Columbus, rather the Columbus family, and the Dominican Republic, because that's where I went on holiday. So the Dominican Republic is one of the Greater Antilles in the Caribbean. It shares an island with Haiti. Haiti is French speaking, the Dominican Republic is Spanish speaking. They were originally both found by Christopher Columbus. Columbus first set sail in 1492, as most people will already know, from, I think it's the port of Cadiz, under the orders of Queen Isabel of Castile and King Ferdinand of Aragon. So they were the ones who they'd done the Reconquista, pushing the Moors out of Granada, things like that. Parents to Catherine of Aragon, Henry VIII's first wife. They were like peak medieval power couple goals, even though they're sort of bridging into early modern. I consider medieval turned in 1485, so they're just out of reach. But that's by the by. So Columbus set sail in 1492 and landed first in the Bahamas on the 12th of October. Yes. 1492. So he set out in August, and it took him about 3 months to get to the other side of the Atlantic. From there he sort of pootled around Cuba and landed in the north of Hispaniola. Oh, that's better. Hispaniola is the island of the Dominican Republic and Haiti, and he first left some people to colonise in the north near Haiti before going home again. He came back in 1594, but the people he had left to colonise had been murdered. Yay! Corpses were left hanging from walls, I believe. Which, you know, great. But Columbus came, so Christopher Columbus was now not the only person who was coming across to the islands. His brother Bartholomew, which by the way is a fantastic name, also came across, bringing his wife. And Bartholomew was actually the one who colonised and founded Santo Domingo, which is now the capital city of the Dominican Republic. Founded that in 1496 and built there the infrastructure, a lot of the street system. It's a very well laid out city. It's almost on a grid pattern, but not quite. It's still got a lot of the original streets. The Columbus Palace is still there. I might see if I can put some pictures in. Some holiday snaps if you like, because I do enjoy that. They've also dedicated a lighthouse to Christopher Columbus, which I wish we'd had a better look at and know more about, because I'm not sure if that's a posthumous thing or whether it was something they built. I believe it was a posthumous thing because they incorporated Mayan buildings as well as Moorish and Spanish. But then that's sort of what we saw around the city itself. It was very much a blend of cultures. So Santo Domingo is considered the first city of the Americas, dating back from the 1496. It was the first one to have a castle, a fortress, a cathedral, a university, things like that. So it's a really important city, which I knew nothing about. As it was, I still ended up knowing very little, because most of these trips, they pick us up at 6:30 in the morning and then they talk for 3 hours. Unfortunately, you stick me on a bus and what do? I sleep. So we had 3 hours travel journey. We talked all the way through it, giving us lots of information, and I was dead to the world. I was just gone. Hanging out of my seatbelt into the aisle practically, I was told, because I'm not... If I am going to walk around a city, I need to prepare for it, and that preparation involves being asleep. So that was... I always get a bit upset that I miss those sorts of things, but nothing I can do about it. So yes. Walking around this city, I think the colonial parts are considered a UNESCO World Heritage Site, I do believe. So we went to the Columbus Palace, we saw the fortress and the walls. We walked along the main streets, which still have a fair few of their original names, including my favourite one, which is called the Damas Marché. I want to say it in a French accent because that's the only language I learned. But it's basically called the Street of the Walking Ladies, because Bartholomew Columbus's wife and the ladies of her household, so she'd have had attendants and things, they used to go for an evening walk every day. And so these 30 women, you've got like several hundred colonisers. Yep, they're going to be an attraction, aren't they? 30 women and a load of men. Yeah, so they came out and watched them walk every day. Lovely. But it's nice that that sort of name still not resonates, but it still exists. A lot of streets change their name. Sort of frequently. I do believe, especially over the 500 years, if something's still named the same, that's impressive. So yes, there was that. But I believe, if I remember correctly, Bartholomew Columbus's family was the only family to live there. Fell into disrepair pretty quickly. My brain is foggy. Today, Santo Domingo and the Dominican Republic, though, they're still there. There's various reasons that Haiti and the Dominican Republic, although they were originally one island and ruled as such, are now two different countries, mainly between the whole colony thing and France, then Napoleon and stuff. But the Dominican Republic, also the Haitian Revolution, which then took over Haiti to the slaves. Was it the slaves or the natives? Can't remember. But they took back Haiti from the French. But then they also had control of the Dominican Republic. So the Dominican Republic was one of the very few Caribbean islands that, when they declared independence, were not declaring independence from a European country. I think there's maybe 3 or 4, maybe a few more, maybe a few less. But anyway, they declared independence in 1844. I've got written down in my notes. So yes, it is a rather poor country. It always makes me feel uncomfortable a little bit whenever I go on holiday somewhere like that. But then a huge part of their infrastructure is based on tourism, so I don't really know how to reconcile it all. Morals. It's an odd one. And now I have more things to say, but I cannot remember them. So I do apologise, but you've got a little bit of a tidbit there that, in actual fact, Christopher Columbus may have found the things in the Americas, but he was not actually the one who stuck around and did things. His brother did, though. He built a very nice city. So yes, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you again very soon. Bye!